I hit the wrong button and totally wiped out the live. Had to completely go through and mad dash reset everything so that we can get together and talk about the Idaho 4. So we went from like 85 people now to nothing. And we had just started, and I went to stop the music and I hit end the live button. And they don't give you, are you sure you want to end the live? No, it's just like live is gone. So I've got to get everybody back in here. This is a live, so if you're on replay, you're going to have to fast forward a minute till we get our bearings under us. That's the second time I've done that, like in all the years, but still. Okay, I've got to update this and get back into the new one. I don't know what that is. All right. Let's try this. No views. That's the one. I deleted the other one, so hopefully. Oh, now I can't get on. Doggone it. Why can't I get on? Hold on, you guys. Technical difficulty. I got to go all the way out and come back in and try to get there. Okay. Got it. I think we're all back on track. Little hiccup there. We'll get everybody back in. Yeah, we're going to be talking, digging deep into the Idaho 4 case, the 911 call. We've got missing BL00D. Yes, I spelt it because I'm on YouTube. YouTube teaches you to spell. Hey, Calder, Covered, Karen, Bell, Rachel, Zoe. Hello, everybody. There is a lot of you here and more coming in the door, catching up as they go. All right. So I'm trying to figure this all out. So in the very beginning of the Idaho 4 case, there were some that told me they would say in comments or in emails. I don't think it happened at 1122 King Road. I think the bodies were staged. And I was always like, okay, but I mean, there's blood seeping out the building, and so it's like a bloodbath in there. Remember, Steve G said it was a hell of a battle down there, and so if you're not alive, you don't bleed because your heart stops pumping, your blood doesn't run. So then I was very curious when I found out. When they tore the house down, I was watching Xana's room. And finally, when the big guy moved out of the way, I caught a glimmer. I didn't catch it, but I should have filmed the whole thing. But Xana's walls do not have BL00D on them. I didn't see any. It was white, like snow. I think I was on a live watching that. Like, I think I recorded it live. I'll have to look because that would be great to have that footage. But that's when all of a sudden I started questioning, what about the blood? Where was the blood in Xana's room? All right. Then we hear about Murphy, who's in the house. The doors are all open. The dog has free roam of the house, but no BL00D. So I'm like, I still can't wrap my head around that. How is the dog not investigative enough to check on his owner? He's too friendly of a dog. He's hyper. He's all over the place. We've seen the videos. This dog is like a bouncing, curly, furry ball. So, all right. No blood on the dog, even though he had free roam of the house. How'd he go all the way upstairs and not get blood on him? Because wouldn't there be blood transfer between the rooms? Okay. Now, we get Dylan's text messages to BF, right? DM's text messages and her statements that she saw this attacker. Never once does she mention seeing BL00D. Not when the attacker is 3 feet in front of her. So had nothing happened at that point? Wouldn't he? I mean, so he's in black. His feet are walking across a hard floor. You'd see the shoe prints, right? If you can see the bushy eyebrows, it's obviously light because if it's dark in the room and a person has a mask on, you're not going to be able to be like, oh, there's light right here where his eyes are so I can see the bushy eyebrow. No. It's got to be light enough to be able to make eye contact and see that he's looking right at you. You're obviously looking right at him 3 feet away, and you don't smell it. You don't see it. You don't nothing. So then again, I was like, where's the BL00D? So then Dylan's got to run all the way down to the bottom level. The only blood we hear about on the bottom level is 1 drop of unidentified, unknown male BL00D on that bottom level, the first floor handrail. A drop on that whole section. That's the only blood we hear about? What about if the person that did all this ran from either upstairs from Maddie's room down to Xana's room? They had to cross where Dylan would have to cross. So wouldn't there be a footprint track? Vice versa. If they come from Xana's and they go up to Maddie's room, same thing. Dylan's got to cross that. She never sees it. She's never like, what's all this? Nothing. So, again, where's the crime scene? Now, the 911 call. Just guttural reaction of anybody going into shock from seeing something. Not, oh, poor Kaylee. What? That sounds like, Kaylee passed out with her favorite blanket and fell asleep. Aw, poor Kaylee. What? Hello? Are we being lied to? The only BL00D that I know of from the victims appears to be running outside the house on the side of the building, but nobody inside sees any. I don't care how many hours you got. If the victims are there, there should be a puddle. You feel me? But there's not. Yes, Football Cat, the 911 call I'm going to be going over tomorrow, actually, in detail, is completely out. Well, I say completely. There's 2 silent little minutes. One's for a phone number, and then there's something else. Shannon Torres believes she had the fakest cry. It is weird. It is weird. But let's go over this. I got to thinking about this. If there isn't the crime scene that we've been told about, could these people, these victims, have been taken out somewhere else? Because then they're not bleeding everywhere. They could have been moved and staged. Then the big question would be, maybe it was only upstairs that people got taken out in the house. Maybe the other 2 individuals, I'm just going to ask it in the form of a question, could they have been taken out on school property at a frat, I don't know, randomly Sigma guy? And that could be why the school is trying to, I don't know, destroy everything about this and evidence that they get their hands on, i.e. the house came down. Why would you tear the house down before the jury gets to see it unless there's something not so kosher with the crime scene? You feel me? It all felt fake, that call, Ocean Deep. I think it does sound... So, the female roommate, which I'm going to assume is DM, sounds fake as shite to me. The guy does not. So I think there's one or two, maybe Bethany, maybe not. It might just be Dylan. I don't know. Dylan doesn't sound real. And she says, come on, Bethany, we've got to check. And then she says, we have to. I don't know. 2 in, 2 out, in your opinion, Ocean Deep? So why would the school have torn the house down before the jury can walk through it? Is what I agree with Football Cat. It's likely they're hiding evidence. What would they be hiding? When the walls came down at 1122 King Road, I was with a crowd of people on a live. I don't know if I recorded it or if I was on the live on the news in chat. I can't remember that far back. But I waited for Xana's room until it came open. And when the outside wall came on, those walls were white. There was not a bloodbath on the walls. There were a lot of people that were like, they painted it. And I'm like, they're going to tear the house down. They got asbestos. I highly doubt they're going to paint it, even if they said they were remodeling. What? It's a line of crap. Noelle says maybe she had to because she planted the sheath. Yes, there was a hole in one of the bedroom walls. I have that picture. We can look at that tomorrow. I'll make a note. Let me make a note and I'll have to find it. It's a doorway. And doorway hole in house. I'll find my picture. I absolutely do have that. Linda says, I heard at the beginning of this case there was a tunnel that goes straight into an empty bedroom. Could it be possible? I think everything is possible in this strange town. I do think there are tunnels. I didn't see any that ran under that house. I could be wrong. I looked at the schematics. There are tunnels. There was nothing that ran directly under the house on the schematics. Not that I could see, in my humble opinion. The house contained evidence. Unbelievable. It was demolished. Phil Hessup. Right? So where's all this blood? How come nobody's like, okay, instead of poor Kaylee, which I get you're going to have emotions, but poor Kaylee, that's not shock. That's pathetic. I would have expected, wow, oh my God, look at the blood. I would have expected hyper, like pass out hyper. If you went upstairs and you're like, poor Kaylee. Nothing, just poor Kaylee. I'm looking at my notes. There. I wrote all them notes. I just shared them. I know. No, I can't get the poll back. Sorry, Zoe. That's my fault. We'll run a poll tomorrow. We're going to miss out on our poll today. I can't remember what I asked. It was something about, do you feel the crimes? Well, let's do a poll on here. So, A, B, C, or D. All right, let me write down A, B, C, D. All right. Where do you believe the actual crime scene happened? A, 1122 King Road. Okay. Now, you can vote at home, too. B, what was the answer? Not enough evidence. Possibly school property. C, maybe some at house, maybe some elsewhere. And D, I don't know. Okay. I've made our poll. We're now professional, right? I made our poll. So do your bidding. Where do you think the crime scene was? At the house completely, just like the Ellie is saying, 1122 King Road is A. B is evidence, not enough evidence, possibly at the school. C is maybe some of the victims at the house and maybe others at like a frat or something, or on a road. And D, I don't know. Now you can't pick several. You can't pick two or it won't work. Okay, I see a D, an A, Albarquez an A. So a lot of you do feel it happened right at King Road. I think that was the majority, was that 38% was the majority. It was very divided. Very divided. But I think A was at 38%. I think that 20-some percent, like 26, was at, we only had like 80 votes though. And it was only going for a few minutes. You're going with C, Robert? Maybe some at the house, maybe some otherwise. All right, so devil's advocate, as they say. I'm going to play this part out for you a minute. It didn't snow the day of the accident. Good Lord. The day of the red rum. It didn't snow that day. It was actually a day or two after that. However, if there had been red rum with a lot of BL00D anywhere, there would be remnants of that, and the snow would have turned pink. So, for instance, when my kid was little, they had a playground they have a playground at school. When he was little, he got hurt, and there was a lot of BL00D, you know how I had wound blades, right? On the asphalt. And then the next day, even after they swished with water, the next day it snowed and it turned like, it melted there and turned kind of like a pink slushy, right? And I was like, ew. And so they had to go get rid of that. They actually had to scrape it all in a bucket and spray it down and sanitize it and everything. It was really gross. But my mom-in-law worked at the school, and she was telling me it was this giant pink circle of Noah's head wound. And I'm like, well, I know that Emily, living next door, was on the call. But there was also DM on the call. The one saying, can I just tell you what happened around 4 o'clock in the morning? Ah, Fozzie dear, I haven't seen you in a long time. Missed you, lovely. Good to have you back. Hi, Linda Annie. Fun times with Heath. This says that was not DM, that was Emily. Oh, I disagree. Unless you're talking about a different part. I mean, there is a part where it's DM, and there's a part where it's Emily that's living next door. Let me see what you think says. What you think says, we will see if the responding officers had the body cams. They sure use them a lot at the house. On the other calls, they best have caught body cam evidence at the crime scene. It is crime scene. It is staged and covered up by all. Thank you for your opinion. Yeah, Karen Bell says, I'd have been frantic. I feel that. Heath says, then the medical examiner said it was a battle. She didn't really go into too much detail about the crime scene at all. She did say there was a lot of blood. Where? I'm just trying to understand this. The dog has nothing. The 911, the dog has no biological evidence. Free roam to the whole house. Quadruple homicide. He's clean as if he come back from the groomer. laying quietly on Kaylee's bed, just sitting there. Door open to the whole place. You feel me? And why would they say passed out if there's I mean, even if they couldn't get in the room to Xana, doors locked, they don't know what's going on in there. There's no trails of BL00D out in the hallway, or they wouldn't be thinking passed out. They'd be thinking hurt, right? Bleeding. You never hear that. So if this 911 call, if we're to play it out, that they think that they can't wake Xana up, you can even hear when the guy goes to the door, Xana, Ethan, wake up, in the background. And then you hear them say, the girls say, something's wrong. They're all in questioning, as if there's nothing outside of Xana's room that could tell them anything. No clue that there's anything wrong other than, I can't get the door open. We know they're in there. But how do you know they're in there? How do you know that they didn't lock their door and crash out over at Sigma Chi? If you haven't laid eyes on them and they're not picking up their phone and you can't get in the room, how do you know that they're passed out in there? You feel me? Just because you can't get in a room doesn't mean that there's anybody behind the door. I don't get that. Please don't text in all caps. It makes it hard for me to read. So, is it possible? Okay, Terry Richards says, is it possible the authorities are lying in order to catch the dope reelers? Anything is possible. Even after it is over, there is going to be questions unanswered if the powers that be want truth. I don't know about that. I'm sorry what you think. I can't read it when it's all in caps. Kim French, my dad had a colonoscopy and came home, went to the washroom and bled. All you could smell is blood. It smells like iron or metal. It was craziness. It does. It has a very metallic chemical smell. I've worked in medical care as a med tech. People have falls, hit their head, a lot of BL00D on a head injury, and you can smell it when you come in the room. It can make you nauseated. You can literally get sick off the smell. Ocean Deep 24, someone was texting her by the food place. Maybe, okay, you're talking about Kaylee when you say her. Someone was texting Kaylee by the food place. Maybe someone persuaded her to go there instead of home. Oh. Hey, Bartman, how are you? Does this being released, maybe body cam will be next? Wouldn't that be something? We've just been having stuff come out. Now, I'm not going to do Idaho 4 tomorrow. Tomorrow, I am going to go into the Delphi case just for one video because of the release of the 47-second video. OMG, do you know what I see? I'll tell you when I get there. When you get there tomorrow, if you even are familiar with the Delphi case, we're going to talk about Delphi tomorrow. Fancy Fortnite Games, talking about the Idaho 4, says it's fraternity, I think. How do you know? Question of the day. How do you know someone's passed out behind the door if they're not picking up their phone and the door is locked? There's got to be something that alerts you that says they are in there. Moonlight. Mama D, there's a creator supposedly has the first part of the Banfield body cam. Oh, I hope we get it. I hope it's real. Fancy Fortnite says a huge cover-up by the local police and the university, in my opinion. Isn't it weird? Like, we listened to the Linda Lane, like 1:55 to 2 o'clock little thing there, right when, 1:56 Kaylee gets home, the darkest hour for Ethan Chapin's mom. There's a lot of screaming, and it sounds like somebody says, Zana! And somebody was like, have to be a lot of blood outside for them to be taken out there. That's interesting. I was really thinking about what if it was in the backyard. They don't seem to care that there's blood on a glove. That's not important. That's found in the backyard. Blood in a glove. In the backyard. What else is in the backyard? If these individuals, Xana and Ethan, originally were outside, then they could be staged inside with no transfer of the BL00D. Just wrap them in a rug, carry them in, one on the floor, one in the bed. You stage the scene. Zaxxon, hello, lovely. Oh, let me get chat on the board. What did I do wrong? Oh, it was hooked up to the previous live. Hold on. Let me fix it. Thank you, Zaxxon, for gifting 10 memberships. And thank you, my beautiful starlights. Just in time, we have our TC Members Radio tomorrow. We're going to be building Zaxxon a new house, listening to True Crime Radio. Hey, CSTR girl. I think they tried opening the door first, but couldn't open it. Yeah, but there's a lock on that door. How'd they know how to get in without the lock code? Remember, Xana's locks were changed by her dad. So how'd they know they couldn't get in? They had to have had the key, the code, something. And if they couldn't get in, how did they know that it wasn't just like something that fell behind the door after somebody left? You know what I'm saying? Like the broom fell and just happened to fall behind the TV so you couldn't get it open. I mean, there's something wrong there. How do you know you need 911 if they're not responding in that room, but you don't know if they're in there? How did they know that Xana and Ethan were in there? And could they not get in through the door, but had to go through the window and we're just not being told? I mean, stranger things have happened, like us being lied to and told that DM and Bethany slept through the whole thing in the basement, which was a complete fabrication and outright lie. Not only were they not asleep, they heard everything, including the witness alleges that she saw the attacker within 3 feet of her face. So, Crafty One says it was maybe the blood seeping out from under the door. I'm not sure, hon, where you're talking about. Fancy says the no blood theory, along with 3 different blood DNAs, is odd. It's mind-boggling. The dog has nothing on it. Nobody in the 911 calls like, okay, not only can we not get the door open, but there's blood all over the floor in front of the door. No. Nothing. Not only that, they tore the house down, and I didn't see any BL00D on the walls. Just looked like brand new white wall. Well, not brand new. There were scuff marks and stuff, but just clean white walls. Then they tear the house down? Teresa Gamino says, so much corruption. I hope true justice is served. I do too. I truly do. Carolyn Prestige says they couldn't leave it later than 12 p.m. to call 911. The 8-hour delay is still sus to me. And to me too. And where's the whole, like, I'm so scared, I'm freaking out, call 911. No. I'm so scared I'm freaking out. Come down to my bedroom. Run. I've heard 3-year-olds with more common sense. 5-year-olds have called 911 and less without anybody telling them to. 5-year-olds call 911. But not sorority girls. No. They're going to call their team captain. Doesn't matter if 4 people are no longer breathing. Don't call 911. Don't get help. Go take a nap. Get up in the morning. Call some friends over and be like, can you check on them? We were so out of it. Oh, thank you, Saxon. Yeah, nothing instead. No, you should call 911. Nobody suggested it that we know of. Kim French says, in my opinion, they knew Xana and Ethan were home because they saw their shoes at the door, in my opinion. It's possible, but we're adults. We have so many different shoes. That wouldn't, to me, tell me they were home. Like, I know that my kids have probably 4, and their guys have work shoes. They have tennis shoes. They've got slippers. They've got probably 4 pair of tennis shoes. And just because one of their pair is by the door, like right now, I have one of mine. One of my kids is actually on vacation 4 hours away for 4 days, and his shoes are all over by the door. So for me, I just can't see that being the real reason. There's got to be something. Secret rooms all over that house could have hid them. What do you think? Thanks for sharing your opinion. Gail, in my opinion, a lot of information that we heard in the early weeks, which was dismissed as rumors, is actually being presented in court papers now as factual evidence. Ain't that something? Yeah. Yep. The moment. Okay, we're gonna add a new thing to our daily when we get together on our lives. I can't believe it's true. That's a new segment. And in this part right here where they're scared in the house, and they're terrified. They're absolutely mortified. Then Dylan runs downstairs and gets in Bethany's room. She has seen an intruder. She has heard someone crying that she thinks is Xana. She has heard everything in this house. She's heard the dog barking. Not 5 minutes, but 30 minutes. They're huddled in the corner down in Bethany's room. And here's that moment where the segment comes in. I just don't believe it. That they were like, I'm sure they're fine. Bethany, don't you think everybody's fine? Nobody's answering. We had an intruder. There was a lot of screaming. Sound like somebody was up there with Murphy. He's barking for 30 minutes. I'm terrified. You're scared. Let's not check on anybody. Even if they need an ambulance, who cares? I need some sleep. I feel like if I go to sleep, maybe it'll just be a bad trip we were on. Right, Beth? Let's get some Z's. The second you put your head on your pillow, you're not like, nobody's answering. They probably need an ambulance. Oh, well. I'm going to get a good night's rest, and we'll get to this in the morning. There's no way I can go from I'm absolutely mortified, terrified, saw an intruder, dogs going nuts, heard this entire screaming going on, people running up and down the stairs, all hell is broken loose. I'm going to the basement. I'm getting some sleep. Okay, Diva, you are the most important human on the planet. Blacat says, if Kohlberger did this at all, he wasn't alone and the prosecution doesn't care. How do they forget the DNA under the fingernails of the victim, Maddie? I don't know. It makes zero sense. And when something doesn't make sense, it's because something's not right. The pieces don't fit together. You're not going to be able to fit this square peg in this round hole. It's not going to go because it doesn't fit. And like I said, I cannot believe this part. I cannot believe it, that they're going to go to sleep. There's no way. I believe they bolted and that front door was left open, and I believe they took off out of that house. I don't believe they stayed a minute in the house and slept. I truly do not. They came back the next day at some point, and then it all was like, okay, we'll go back to the house. We won't really go in much. We'll just call friends over and they can go in and check for us. That makes a lot more sense. If the narrative made sense, we would all not be questioning all of this and trying to swallow down this absolute ridiculous narrative that 4 people are taken out in a house, which we were told the roommates didn't hear nothing. That was a lie. They heard it all. They saw people in the house, because it says on that 911 call, they saw someone in the house. They saw. But yet Bethany has nothing to offer. Perhaps she did see, and perhaps she would not tell that she saw it. Perhaps that's the exculpatory evidence. And if Bethany or Dylan actually saw the intruder, and they are not confirming that it's Kohlberger, then both girls are quite aware that the original intruder that did this, if he's not Kohlberger, he's free to do what he like again. Yeah, it says that the neighbor says, oh yeah, they saw, not she said, or DM or Dylan. No, they said they saw an intruder last night. I believe he's been set up too, Karen Bell. I really do. I mean, we could sit here all day and talk the evidence of the case that's not there on Kohlberger. The only thing they have is some touch DNA. And, you know, when you have big open gouges, not stab wounds, the quote from McButt, the coroner, then how in the hell does it matter about a sheath? Here's the thing. I tried to figure out why the girls would be in the smallest room. I do not believe they went to bed together. I do not. They have a full open bed in the other room. I believe that they were chased up the stairs and they had a knife that they decided to grab that was in Maddie's room. And that's why they ran toward a smaller room, in my humble opinion. I think she unsheathed it, threw the knife sheath, which landed on the bed, and then that could be why there's blood in a glove in the backyard, because he had to grab, even with his glove, right? He had to grab a knife and probably got cut and bled in his glove, taking that away from the victim. I believe that that is actually the victim's sheath. I honestly believe that this was a much larger weapon, if not several weapons, much larger. Like, I would say those weird, like, they're not K-bars, but they're worse. They're horrible looking. But that's my humble opinion. Long Beach, hippie, hello. Besides liquid outside the house, you say, and what authorities tell us, I see no crime, but a big BS story. Why? Who? I don't know. When did bodies get removed? Any videos or pics? Who removed the bodies, pics, or videos? We'll have to dig into that. I have some new information on that, too. Amy K. Hi, everyone. Mostly just listen. Don't comment too often. But I keep wondering where DM shouting, shut the F up, comments entered all this now. Anyone else remember when that was reported? I do. Good question. So if okay, I'm just going to throw it out there. There's no BL00D outside that room. So that means that the attacker probably did not leave out Xana and Ethan's bedroom door. Even if they came in that way, they would have come in clean. They would have taken Ethan and Xana out if they were killed there, and then went out that damn bedroom window. And that's how Ethan slumped up against the door and the killer can still leave. Right? So now he's got his next two intended victims, maybe saw these intruders coming down the ladder from Xana's bedroom window, and were chased into the house. The girls freak the hell out. And the reason they go to the smaller bedroom is because Maddie got a knife. She's ready to go. See what I'm saying, Burn? I could be wrong. Just wild spaghetti. It is crazy. All of this is crazy. Hearing somebody just kind of go, oh, poor Kaylee. That's disgusting. What do you mean, oh, poor Kaylee? I can't even imagine somebody that's so desensitized as doing autopsies and looking at Kaylee, if we're led to believe the truth, that she was that messed up and that they were body stacked, right? I can't imagine a girl, just a college student, going, oh, poor Kaylee. I can't believe it. I do too. I believe the culprits left out the window. I do too. It is totally desensitized, Alessandra. Melissa Reyes believes DM is absolutely involved. They wanted them gone so bad, says Alessandra. Thank you, Sozo. Let me go up and see what Joyful's saying. Joyful, can anybody read my messages? Yes, hon, we can see them. Karen Bell, plus they went in before coroner wasn't allowed in till 5 p.m. I heard. Correct. That's right. The coroner was not allowed in till after 5. Ocean Deep 24, could they have had a key for that door in Xana's room? They could have let themselves in and the ladder was put there to confuse maybe. But after committing that crime, if there's no trail leading away from Xana's door, it would almost make you think that they had to leave out the window. Plus, there's a body blocking the door. So there's only logically, in my humble opinion, one way out for the killer. And that's out that window and down that ladder. They were in the kitchen taking pictures. Do her eyes give her away? I don't know. Young Black Economist says, yeah, I also think that probably left out the window. I also don't think it could be one person, or if it was one person, it was BK, because BK is not buff, okay? Or a ninja. Oh, it wasn't, you meant. Okay. I can quant more like him, okay? Thank you. Robert Engler, if you remember, they were in the kitchen taking pictures. Correct. Annette Sunblad, we have the videos of Linda Lane, the fight, the screaming. I'm going to have to get into more of it. Talking about Linda Annie says, I'm behind because I went back to the beginning, but Maddie's coat was outside too, on a fire hydrant, right? And that's a block away. Aborque, there was no mask. I'm here to help you. No Kaylee, playing with dog, no opening the door 3 times. This is all BS in my opinion. Thank you, Alborque. Yeah, Linda Lane on the fire hydrant. Right. All right, my lovely, I appreciate your time so incredibly much. It is that time for us to jump off here, but I look forward to talking to you tomorrow if you are even curious on the Delphi case. I got something to say, and I got a lot of it, because I don't think Richard Allen had a damn thing to do with it. And when you look at that footage, I think it tells us exactly what is going on in the Delphi case. Anyway, if you want my opinion, stick around. We'll be back tomorrow about the same time. I appreciate you so much, and I love you to the moon and back. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget, Sunday, tomorrow, we got Moonies over on our other channel. If you are into pulling cards and readings, I got that going on the Mama D and Family channel. And if you are into the members over here, the Starlights, we got TC Radio tomorrow. So tomorrow's actually a big day for us. I'll see you again tomorrow. I love you, and thank you so incredibly much. Love you to the moon and back. Bye, Ocean Deep. Thank you, Zaxxon. Good to see you, Fozzie dear. Hey, Sue Chelsea, Karen Bell, Audrey, Ocean Deep, Joyful Dolphin.